If you ruled 1.4 billion people and the entire world was watching you fail, what would you do? If your empire was crumbling, your economy tanking, your mind cracking under the intense pressure, if your enemies were circling inside your own party and your allies were vanishing one by one, if you knew your own people, your middle class, your youth, your intellectuals were losing faith in you fast, what would you do? Well, Xi Jinping just showed us exactly what he would do. He quietly moved his office and his family out of China's traditional seat of power and into a secluded imperial garden. Yes, you heard that right. Not a modern office building, not a state-of-the-art command center, an imperial garden. And this is not just about feng shui or ancient architecture or nostalgia. This is a massive red flag about Xi's mental state and about the dangerous phase we're now entering in a story of China's coming collapse. Because history teaches us when authoritarian rulers retreat into imperial gardens, palaces, or bunkers, it never ends well. Today I'm going to show you exactly what's happening behind those walls and why the world should be very, very worried. Let's rewind a bit, because this story didn't start with a single move. It started with a pattern, a very revealing one. Over the past few years, Xi Jinping has developed a strange new habit to relax himself. Every month, like clockwork, he leaves Beijing and goes sightseeing. Yes, sightseeing, not leading major state projects, not hardline inspections of critical industries, inspections in name only. In reality, these are stress relief vacations. He goes to temples, famous mountains, ancient ruins, sacred rivers. And what kind of places does he choose? Places with lucky names, peaceful names, names that sound auspicious. Because Xi Jinping is a deeply superstitious man. He has become obsessed with finding good omens, signs of fortune and protection. Why? Because deep down, he's afraid. He knows the tide is turning against him. He's in danger. And when a ruler starts relying on lucky names instead of sound policies, that's when the collapse really begins. And this brings us to what happened in this past May. In May this year, Xi took another one of his ritual tours, this time to Henan province. And he visited the famous White Horse Temple. Once again, places designed to calm the mind. But here's where things got strange. After returning to Beijing, Xi disappeared for 15 straight days. No public appearances, no statements, no videos, no photos. 15 days in China's tightly opaque political system, that is an eternity. And of course, the rumors exploded. Was he sick? Had there been a coup against him? Was he suffering a mental breakdown? Remember, in China, when top leaders fall, it usually happens silently first. And this 15-day gap looked exactly like the early signs of a political earthquake. But then on June 4th, Xi finally resurfaced. And here's where this story takes a truly bizarre turn. He didn't reappear at Yingtai, the traditional seat of power for Chinese leaders. Yingtai is in the heart of Zhongnanhai, where all top leaders meet foreign heads of state. It's where Jiang Zemin, Hu Jintao, And even Xi himself met VIP guests, held night summits, and hosted banquets. It's where Xi famously held the late night tea session with Obama, a globally watched moment of Chinese statecraft. But this time, Xi met Belarusian President Lukashenko somewhere else entirely, a secluded corner of Zhongnanhai called Chunyi Zhai. And what is Chunyi Zhai? It's not a modern political venue. It's not a traditional state hall. It's an imperial garden, an ancient retreat, part of the secretive Jingu Garden complex, a place where Qing emperors would go to relax, watch performances, escape from the harsh realities of ruling, a place full of koi ponds, bamboo groves, tiny bridges, and it's an imperial fantasy land. And during the meeting, Xi casually told Lukashenko this bombshell. He said, "My office is next door." A translation, Xi has officially moved both his office and his personal residence into this imperial garden. And to drive the point home, Xi's daughter appeared at the banquet. So this was no accident. It was a signal. She's now governing China from inside an imperial pleasure garden. So why would she do this? Because make no mistake, this is a massive, calculated shift. Moving a CCP leader's office is no small project. It requires months of planning, security overhauls, communications rebuilds, logistical transformations. Xi's right-hand man, Cai Qi, has been missing from recent public trips, likely overseeing this operation personally, because Xi wanted a fortress, a hideaway, a place where he can control every variable and escape the constant mental pressure. Think about it. The Chinese economy is collapsing, youth unemployment soaring, real estate frozen, local governments broke, international isolation growing, trade war intensifying, military tension rising too, internal enemies everywhere. Xi knows the party is filled with rivals waiting for him to stumble. So what does he do? He moves into a garden surrounded by symbols of imperial power and internal rule. This is not just about feng shui, it's about psychology. Xi's building himself an environment where he needs to feel safe, where the ghosts of Qing emperors can soothe his mind, where the world outside, with all its terrifying uncertainties, can be kept at bay. And this brings us to the most disturbing part of this story, Xi's mental state. This move is a clear signal that Xi is struggling to cope with the weight of his own power. The signs have been building for years. His past obsession with travel locations with lucky names, his increasingly superstitious behavior, his paranoia driven purges of rivals, his brutal, irrational policies like zero COVID, driven by personal fear, not science, and now retreating into an imperial garden. Why does this matter? Because when authoritarian rulers reach this phase, history shows us what happens next. They become more paranoid, more impulsive, more willing to take reckless risks to maintain control. Think of Stalin's final years, Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution, Hitler in the bunker. When a ruler starts hiding in symbolic palaces, the system is on the edge of catastrophe. And remember, Xi's own father reportedly suffered mental decline in his own final years. Now, under global pressure, domestic revolt, and immense personal stress, Xi may be walking the same path. And here's why this matters to you, whether you are in America, Europe, Japan, Taiwan, anywhere. A mentally unstable Xi Jinping is the biggest geopolitical risk in the world today. We saw it with zero COVID, one of the most ridiculous, destructive domestic policies in modern China. Imagine what happens if Xi, in his garden-filled paranoia, decides the only way to change his fate is to attack Taiwan, or to launch purges that destabilize China even further, or to weaponize the global economy in reckless, unpredictable ways. We are entering the most dangerous phase of Xi Jinping's rule, not because he's stronger than ever, but because he's more frightened than ever. And frightened rulers, especially dictators, make catastrophic decisions. Now, quick reality check, because you may see wild rumors online. Some say Xi has been toppled, that he's under house arrest, that a coup against him is underway. Not true. Not yet. Xi is still meeting foreign leaders, including Lukashenko, and appearing in public. In China, when a leader falls, they vanish completely. No appearances, no photos, no statements. That has not happened for now. But the move to Chunyi tells us this. Xi knows the pressure is unbearable. He is retreating into a fantasy world of imperial symbolism and false security. He's trying to hold on while his grip weakens by the day. So what's the takeaway? The man who rules China is cracking. Not in public yet, but behind those garden walls, the signs are clear. He's a terrifying man, superstitious, isolated, and that is when rulers become the most dangerous. Don't underestimate this risk. Don't believe the CCP propaganda that Xi is stronger than ever. The truth is, he has never been more fragile. And when fragile rulers panic, the whole world can feel the shockwaves. Especially China will go down with it. If you want the real inside story, not the sanitized version, hit subscribe, because here we tell it like it is. And trust me, this story is just getting started, far from over. So I'll see you in the next video.